Hello, my dearest darlings. It is I, Dave Makes Noises. Thank you for wrapping the shimmering tendrils of your consciousness around this video. Real quick, just wanted to humbly ask you to please check out our live streams every Sunday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT, and our new podcast, Knowledge with Nolan, on Saturdays. This video includes the voiceover redo of some bangers from an old text-to-speech video, as well as some new ones from our subreddit, r/MrRipper, which you could totally join if you'd like your story professionally narrated. That's all I wanted to say. Now, back by popular demand, I must ask you, what is the smallest way your DM has driven home how evil a villain is? Part 2. He skinned a woman alive for spitting on him when he said her bread was shit just to spite her. Then he burned her bakery down, all while making her kids watch. The real kicker was he threw their pregnant dog into the fire and it got skewered and pinned in place. This was a one-shot where we told him to make us absolutely loathe the enemy, where we would have no qualms going dark to kill. The mother didn't bother us. The dog brought forth tears of impotent rage and fury. He understood dogs to be off limits as we, Vengeance Paladin, Life Cleric, Forest Druid, fuck yeah, Dwarf Fighter, and Tabaxi Rogue got the big bad evil guy, burnt all healing resources and all gold and sold our items to buy healing potions, skinned him, healed, Bloody Eagle, healed, scalped, healed, burnt him, healed, gutted, healed, broke every bone twice, healed, gouged his eyes, healed, ate part of his brain via centipede wild shape, healed, over the course of an in-game 2-month period. Then we set him into the town square of Vegetable to let the townspeople rip him apart. Kept him alive for 6 hours. 10 out of 10. DM delivered. Everyone loved it. Not sure if this is considered small. It's probably not. But everywhere we went, random townsfolk spoke an exact number of words in each sentence. If the person didn't finish the sentence with the exact number, they would stub their toe in midair. It was how we found clues about where he'd been, so we could make him cadaverific. The big bad evil guy had used magic to make a baby speak, but gave the baby a word count of 15. We had to listen and teach the baby enough words to help ourselves. I taught the baby the word poop, meant him, and it had to say poop whenever it referred to the big bad evil guy. Actually, that is pretty small. Well done. We were playing a Guilds of Ravnica campaign, and my DM homebrewed the big bad evil guy. He was an evil mastermind and diverted us away from his main target by making one of our main advocates in the higher-ups go into hiding, sending her guild into chaos, setting false clues, and sending assassins after us. After we defeated these assassins, we heard a massive explosion in the direction of a parade that was being held to signify the unity of the guilds. When we arrived on the scene, the whole parade was destroyed, every single float and bordering house in ruins. We immediately tried to help everyone who was injured, and to hammer home how horrible this was, the DM had me interact with a couple who had lost their son in the explosion, and then I found their son's body. After this, the big bad evil guy descended from the sky, destroyed a whole platoon of troops with a single blast of arcane energy, all while stating that the guilds were useless and he will bring revolution to Ravnica. We were still level 3 at this point, so we instantly knew we were not going to win this fight. We tried to hide, but this son of a gun could sense the party and asked us to walk out. We just booked it and somehow escaped. We were asked by an NPC orphan to see what happened to her recently deceased parents while her adopted mother, one of the sweetest older ladies in the town, gave her a cookie and us some pie, which we luckily didn't eat. Went to the child's house and Rogue used to detect poison on the leftover scraps of food in the trash. Found that the food was poisonous. Eventually figured out that the sweet old lady who had adopted the child and other children would poison families with pies she made, only after she gave sweets to the children laced with the antidote, so they would survive the poison. That's pretty evil. I don't know if that's a small way, but it's definitely a creative way to be evil. It's pretty fucked up. The first or second session of the campaign, the DM introduces us to a big bad evil guy by having him execute the father of one of our party members. He then takes the opportunity to inform the populace of his military coup. The first act of his military takeover? Banish all non-humans from the city, and had his guards corral the crowds out by force. My character had been in the temple at the time, going through his rites and swearing his oath. The ceremony was interrupted by this big bad evil guy besieging the temple, trying to bring it down on the tops of all the clerics and paladins' heads. He basically declared that they were no longer welcome there, and drove them all out. The PCs came across a group of goblins, who turned out to be undead. The goblins were in a cave preparing to attack a city when the group arrives. They attempt to use diplomacy to stop them, arguing that what they were planning would not work, as the city knew of them and was prepared. The goblins' response, in a German accent, "We cannot fall, for we are superior. We are not mere goblins, for we have ascended beyond the limits of the mortal coil and become the true rulers of this world. We are whites, and we are the true masters of this world." And with that, all the other goblins began pumping their fist into the air while chanting, "White power! White power!" over and over. That's right, they were undead goblin Nazis, or if you will, white supremacists. The real villain, however, was not the goblins. It was me, the DM, for spending 2 sessions setting this up only for the big reveal to be a pun. One player actually threw a die at me. In my group, I was a pacifist, so instead of fighting other characters, I would befriend them and let some of them join our party. One of the creatures was a goblin I named Grimbo. He followed me everywhere after I saved him from some bandits. We were nearing the end of our campaign and we were fighting the big bad evil guy. I was using spells to help my teammates when all of a sudden an arrow flew straight at me from seemingly nowhere. I failed my roll in trying to move out of the way. I thought I would die, but before I could, Grimbo jumped in the way of the arrow and died, saving me. In rage, I broke my pacifist vow and did the final blow to the big bad evil guy. It was heartbreaking. I once was allowed to play a custom race by the DM, which was able to eat most things. Character was ancient, but following the classic fish out of water trope. Offered food by a lord who turned out to be a demon, and it followed the human meat trope as well. But my character has no issue eating humans since he ate them when they were still animals. DM whispers to me that I recognize the meat as human due to me rolling high investigation to check for poison originally. To which I calmly respond, "Oh my, did you prepare human especially for me?" My character had a flaw that I didn't know how to lie. The party was shook. Man, these stories get my gears grinding. I've personally only ever encountered a single big bad evil guy that I, as a player, hated with a passion. A nobleman, wealthy, well-dressed, with amicable etiquette. That noble had a young daughter, about 8 to 10 or something, and that daughter had a dog. Now, the nobleman wasn't essentially evil, but very strict with his daughter, and one day when we were invited to a banquet at the nobles after saving a village close by, we witnessed firsthand what this strictness was. The daughter made a mistake and spilled wine on the clothes of our paladin. She was supposed to offer the drink to the paladin as a sign of goodwill for us. Her father didn't scold her. He didn't even get angry, and only apologized to us over and over again, and even offered a change of clothes. Then, the father and daughter duo excused themselves for a while. Coincidentally, our rogue got bored and snuck through the noble's manor in search of something interesting, when he suddenly heard the whimpering of an animal and the cries of a young girl, accompanied by lashes of a whip. Now, we all imagined what was happening, but we were wrong. It got worse. Our rogue snuck closer and glanced through the door, widening his eyes at the scene of the young girl being forced to brutalize her own dog with a thorned whip until it actually died. Then the noble scolded his daughter. She cried and pleaded to let the dog off, but her father wouldn't have any of it. Instead, he actually revived the dog, bringing it to full health with a spell or two, forcing his daughter to whip the pupper to death again. Our rogue watched for 2 more rounds of this spiel before returning to the group with a sick stomach. The noble and his daughter didn't return for over an hour after that. None of us even wanted to imagine what happened after the rogue returned, but we swore to end this failure of an imaginary human being in the most horrendous way possible, and we did. I know my players won't see this here, so an upcoming NPC is a woman locked in an anti-magic prison tower who holds the only knowledge of a rare artifact they have found. If they decide to use her for the only information she knows, it's not in books or anyplace else, only she knows it, she wants them to find some magic gems and bring them to her. There are 5 gems, and like Dragon Ball Z, if you get all 5 together, you get 1 free wish. She wants them to find out where her son is, child snatched as a baby. The first gem is a hook to get the players involved, held by a demon being used for evil. Each gem has minor magic ability tied to it. Luring in children to eat to grow stronger. Younger souls are more pure. But another group, a cult, wants these gems as well and is searching for them to wish for their eldritch god to be freed from its chains. To shorten this and get to the point of smallest ways to drive home evil, the second gem is used by the head wizard of a wizard school to allow the perfect place to safely practice magic without harm. This one will be stolen by the cult. The third gem is in an oasis where the water is rumored to never run out and cure all ailments. The fourth gem is holding back a powerful Titan Lord. And the final gem is formed in the heart of a dragon prince. If the gems are used, they work like Dragon Ball Z and just scatter again waiting to be found. While this doesn't make her evil, per se, she will hold the knowledge over the players' heads, and the artifact they hold slowly is destroying souls around it, and she only knows how to turn it off. It can't be destroyed, and if not properly turned off, it will slowly eat away at everything, turning the world into a barren planet. Might sound like railroading, but it's a super slow drain, like thousands of years. The players could ignore it, but after the campaign ends, fast forward, and their next characters are in a dying world. Oh, and her son is the leader of the cult. Hello again, my weary friend. It is I, Dave Makes Noises, thanking you from the bottom of my icy Canadian heart for watching this video to the very end. Again, just a quick reminder to please check out our new podcast, Knowledge with Nolan, every Saturday, and our live streams every Sunday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. If you love us and feel like helping us out, please consider picking up some merchandise from our shop below. We have the shirts. You can also help us by checking out one of our beloved sponsors. If you're a DM or a player and you're looking for a crew to roll some clicky-clackies with, you may have some luck finding your folk on our Discord server. And if you love me and want me to be happy, please check out my website, www.davemakesnoises.com, or follow me on Instagram, Dave Makes Noises. Haha. I hope you took some time to ground yourself in the present moment today, and if you haven't, not to worry, now's the perfect time. Hey, we could even do it together. Let's just breathe for a moment. And focus on how wonderfully unlikely that in an endless, cold, and unforgiving universe, we are statistically so fortunate to be conscious beings living on a rock hurtling through the infinite void together. Thanks again for watching. Please sub for Nat 20s. Nothing but love for you over here at Rip Daddy's house. Stay hydrated, and we'll see you tomorrow.